know what about something about the JAG branch. Uh, Before we start, I just like to, although he has, given you the brief introduction about myself, the my journey in the JAG branch began right after I completed my graduation, BLLB honors from my university, JNDU. I thought of getting into practice, but what triggered me was, I would say, a poster I saw on somewhere which says, "Do you have it in you?" Then so all of a sudden I realized what exactly are they talking about, and I met various people, army officers, and tried to ask them that what exactly do they need. So my journey towards finding out that what do they need led me to SSB and then the medical and all the procedures. So I joined the academy in 2009, completed 1 year of rigorous training at OTA Chennai. So being a short service, you go to OTA Chennai. If you're a regular officer, you go to IMA Dehradun. That's the difference. And for JAG entries, especially, we go to OTA Chennai. And then from 18 September 2010 onwards, when I got commissioned as a lieutenant, I started my so-called journey into the JAG branch. The first posting I had at Kargil, then back to back, I served in J&K, Srinagar, CICT operational areas. Then I went to Bathinda for a while. Then I served in the South Block, Delhi. If someone is from Delhi, they would be knowing what South Block is. And thereafter, I completed my LLM while I was in service. Then I joined the IEM Lucknow also for a short general management course. Then I took some courses with the United Nations also. So leaving those apart, I would start today's discussion going from the SSB part of it, and I'll share my screen as well as got a PPT to share with all of you. So I'll quickly share the screen with you. I thought that this would be a better method to connect with you people. So I hope this is visible to everyone.
Yes, yes, yes. It is visible, sir.
Okay. First and foremost, I'd like to uh, give you the full form, that is Judge Advocate Journals Department. Actually, we don't call it branch, we don't call it core, we call it a department. So that's our logo. And it says Nyaya Eva Dharma. That means knowledge of law is supreme. That's our logo. So basically, when you are there in the JAG branch, you are expected to do well in the military law as well as the civil and criminal law that are prevailing in the country. So this is a brief generalization about what goes around, when you have to start. First and foremost thing is, of course, everybody would be knowing uh, it's the interview, SSB interview. So SSB interview, I have a separate slide for this. In the preceding slides, I'll discuss that. After giving your SSB, which is a 5-day interview, you go for medicals, and the medicals go for about 5 to 6 days. Then again, you get a call letter from Officer Training Academy Chennai, where you train for complete 1 year with the other officers. When I say other officers or gentlemen cadets, that means people who have come through giving CDS. So you all are together in the OTA when you get selected, and then after that you go for a unit attachment of 1 year. This necessarily is in the Glacier, Kargil, Northeast, these kind of regions, because they give you first-hand exposure of what actually army is. Because thereafter you don't go to the units, then you straight away, your first appointment comes as a JAG officer. So your legal work starts from after this 1 year and this 1 year. After 2 years, you get appointed as a JAG officer. So nowhere you're doing your duties as JAG officer for initial this period. So actual legal work starts when you first get appointed as a JAG officer. So, friends, gentlemen, and ladies, this is the basic procedure of SSB interview. I thought I would make something like this. Uh, so, first and foremost is the location. We got SSB selection centers, basically Bangalore, Bhopal, Allahabad, wherever they can be. And then you have a duration of 1 day or 5 days. I've written this intentionally because you can come back after 1 day or you can stay for next 5 days. What is this fun 1 day thing? This at this stage. It's called the preliminary screening stage. So basically, they filter out potential candidates here. Like for example, if around 80 persons are called for SSB interview, they'll filter out 50 or 60% people, or even less, 20 to 25%, uh, who are good in this basic IQ test. These are basic IQ, just general IQ tests. And if you're good at it and you get screened in, and when you're screened in, the first test that we faced is psychological tests. Oh, by the way, I'd like to add that we don't have any separate procedures or syllabi for a selection as a JAG officer. So selection of every officer is through SSB. So we also face the same SSB. So we don't have anything separate legal test, or you can say things like that. So we have to go through all these. So first and foremost is psychological test. You can see the various names: thematic appreciation, word association, situation reaction. So basically, these tests are testing the first-hand, I would say, output of a fertile mind. Whenever you're sitting on a desk and you are giving an exam, they'll throw a picture at you. For example, for a situation SRT test, they show you a picture. They would say that, okay, this is the picture. What would you write about this? The picture would be there at the screen for like 10, 15 seconds or something like that, 30 seconds, something like that. So you are thinking while you're seeing the picture, and then you are giving some time, like a minute or so, to write what you thought. So there is very less manipulation that is involved there, and they get the pure thought of your mind on the sheet. You getting my point? Yeah. So psychological tests bring out the real wavelength of your brain. Then the GTO tests, these are generally tests which are performed on ground. So they, like for example, GD. So they make you sit together in a group. GD is generally whatever you do. You must have seen the GDs that go around. Then they have planning exercises, lecturates, command task groups. So here they give you, things, you work in a group. So the examiner is sitting at a far place. He is just examining every one of you. How do you behave in a certain way when you are in a group? So this both are tests. These are physical tests on ground. These are psychological tests. The most important is personal interview. You got to actually prepare for this because the first and foremost advice that I would give for this test is that you should know what the test wants from you. That is very important, because once you know what the interview wants from you, you'll be able to prepare it better. So it's a 50-60 minutes interview. Here, basically, they're checking the OLQs. It's called officer-like qualities. So what are officer-like qualities? I've just written 15 of them. So they test you on these grounds like effective intelligence, reasoning ability, power of expression, self-confidence. Now, for example, they want to see how courageous you are. They'll give you a question that please discuss, or please, give you a narration, and then or they simply ask for an example. Give us an example when you showed courage. If you write courageous as one of your self description, this part, if you write some positive point about you, that I am courageous, they'll ask questions here uh, depending on how you performed here. So in these tests, they will write some qualities that they have deducted from these tests, that this person is not detail oriented, however he is hardworking, or the test reflects that his personality is this. So they'll write it down, they'll give it to the interviewer, and the interviewer will later ask live question from you to decipher whether you're speaking the truth or not. Simple as that. So you got to be dead honest in your personal interviews. If you don't play, say I don't play. If you don't read, say I don't read. Tell them very honestly what you do. If you don't do anything, just say no. So, and the last day is conference. So the fifth day his conference. It's the last interaction with the selection board. Selection board is pretty big. It covers one brigadier and various colonels, so around 5 to 6 people who are sitting, and they just formally talk to you that how was the interview, what are your feedbacks about SSB interview, do you like the the procedures involved in it, so all these things. So finally, when you were over with this,
शिक्षक तनीजा को
at the
रिमूव कर दो
conference
सर.
point of
शिक्षक
view,
तनीजा को
sorry, at the point of
शिक्षक तनीजा को
conference,
रिमूव कर दो.
all the students are then, my correction, not students. These
फोन
guys
है.
are called gentlemen cadets. They are called to a particular place. They sit together and they announce these results. Like in my case, I went to 17 SSB Bangalore. 25 we got screened in, and later they said that, oh, your batch is washed out. You didn't do very good, and except one person, and that was me. I was the only person who got selected at 17 SSB. So they're looking for quality rather than quantity. We were around 70 guys, and then screened out, and 25 were left. Out of 25, I'm the only one who got selected. And this is not the only obstacle, I would say. And then if you get selected, it's time for medicals. Very, very important. Medicals, I suggest that you examine yourself before you go to the interview, because sometimes you have knock knees, sometimes someone has color blindness, sometimes someone sinuses. So generally, I would recommend you get yourself tested of all these things, get your x-rays done so that you're ticky boo, and when you are screened in, you go for the medicals, you know that you are medically fit, you get selected. Otherwise, if you're not medically fit, all these efforts is useless. It doesn't make any sense. So that's what is all about the SSB interview. And then I'll go to the next. I just thought I'll share the rank structures of the Indian Army with you. Most of you guys would be knowing it. From the rightmost, you have a rank of lieutenant. This is the first rank that you get after being commissioned from service. And then you get promoted to captain, then to major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, brigadier, major general, lieutenant general, and field marshal. Just an FYI, this rank, field marshal, we have only 2 field marshals of the Indian Army till date. One is Sam Manekshaw, other is Field Marshal Karyappa. General is always the chief of the army staff. The chief these days, it's General Manoj Pandey. Then you have lieutenant generals. There's a lower rank, then major generals, brigadiers. So in the JAG branch, this is the highest rank that we can get in the JAG branch, a major general. So the journey is from here to here. So the age that you cross here is the age of 58. Okay, and you get commissioned as lieutenant. So this is about the rank structures. So this is the photograph of mine. I just want to share it to show how the uniform, things on your uniform work out. So this is my last appointment as headquarters Eastern Command. I was senior AJAG. This is while I was in Delhi. So gentlemen, these are the ranks that I was explaining, major ranks. This is the logo of the JAG branch. This is where you serve, like the formation. If you're in Eastern Command, you get these kind of formation signs. If you're in Delhi, this is the Army headquarters sign. So these are the ribbons that you get. This is like for Aprakshak, J&K service, high altitude, the blue ones, high altitude. If you serve in high altitude, you get these medal. And this is for 10 years service. Now, this is the old one. There's only 3. And when I completed 10 years, I got this. This is the award that I got. This is called a commendation card. This is the award of distinguished service. And this badge is called the Rashtra Rifles badge. So when you serve in a unit of Rashtra Rifles, this comes under the Home Ministry. So you serve in RR and you get this badge. So that's how the uniforms are. I just wanted to share it with you. So these are our formations. Basically, the JAG officers, excuse me, the JAG officers, they serve in very prime positions and at higher headquarters. They don't go to lower headquarters ever. The Indian Army formations, they start from the AHQ, the Army headquarters we have at New Delhi. We have 2 buildings there. One is the South Block, which has military secretary branch, and the other is Sena Bhavan. So Sena Bhavan has all the army officers. Military secretary branch is part of the South Block. It constitutes of the defense secretary, the Raksha Mantri, the military secretary, and other people. So we get appointments here also and here also. Okay. Next, after the army headquarters, this is actually hierarchical. Okay, descending order. Command headquarters and corps headquarters. These are also called the high headquarters. Command headquarters, as I've explained here, can be Northern Command. Northern Command consists of areas which are bordering Pakistan and China. Western Command generally consists of areas below J&K and Himachal, Chandigarh, some parts of Bihar, UP, so these kind of places. Eastern, of course, the Seven Sisters, the northeastern region of India. Southwestern Command constitutes of your areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and below. So Southern Command, obviously, the peninsula, and Andaman Nicobar commands are the one which are located at Andaman and Nicobar, obviously. So you get posted in all these commands. So these are very, very high headquarters. So you work as a legal advisor of the commanders who are commanding commands and corps, who are actually the right hand man of these people. You advise them legally on matters of operations. For example, you're posted in Northern Command, like I did about back to back 6 courses in 6 years of postings in Northern Command, completely in Srinagar and areas adjoining Srinagar, Baramulla, Sharifabad, Sheraton garrisons. I was posted there. So you are, while serving in these areas, you are more or less giving opinions on operational issues like live operations conducted by the commanding officers, and they give you a call that this has happened. How do we go about it? How do we contact the police? How do we move the body, and all those things. And after the corps headquarters, you have division headquarters, brigade headquarters, and units. So basically, roughly to understand, under the army headquarters, we have these kind of commands. Under the commands, we have div headquarters, like 3 to 4 div headquarters under Northern Command. Then under the division, you have brigades. Then in Northern Command, 3 to 4 divisions. Then 3 to 4 brigades. Then further 3 to 4 units. So this constitutes your whole command headquarters. So basically, you stay here, here, or here on the top-notch headquarters, I would say. These days, the number of JAG officers who are being commissioned and selected have grown in number. They're coming in like 6 and 7 or 10 in numbers every year or twice a year. So the brigade headquarters is also inculcating these officers. So this is also I wanted to share with you the formations, because one should get a rough idea exactly where do you work. The next slide is about JAG appointments. Now, one thing is rank that you wear. You are a major or a captain or a colonel. But the other thing is appointment. What's your appointment? So roughly from lieutenant to captain ranks, you serve as assistant judge advocate general. We call it AJAG of a brigade or a recruitment center or a div headquarters. So these are lower formations because you're young in service, you need a supervisor or you need a senior guy who would always guide you what exactly is you're supposed to happen, what exactly is supposed to happen. And this is in-house. AJAG is in-house. So you stay in brigade, you stay in div headquarters with the commander, and you perform the. Now, / officers in charge legal cell, very important. This is a appointment where you are representing the Union of India. We're representing the army in the courts. For example, I've written AFT and High Court. Okay. For a junior rank, you can be OIC legal cell, AFT. For example, AFT in Delhi, AFT in Chandigarh, AFT in Guwahati, AFT in Kochi. So you can be posted anywhere as AFT in charge. Then you can be posted as officer in charge legal cell, High Court. So whatever litigation goes on, wherein Union of India is involved, wherein you are the respondents generally. So we defend our cases accordingly. Further, senior ranks, major to lieutenant. You are senior AJAG, the same duties, but as a senior. So now you have some men under your command, and you have officers of these ranks under your commands, which you have to groom, which you have to guide and bring them together, as well as do your routine duties also. And these officers, they also get posted as OIC legal cell, senior ones, to the Supreme Court. So whatever litigation goes on in the Supreme Court with regard to Union of India, generally JAG appointments are handling them as respondents. They brief the councils, the government councils, and the government councils together with the JAG branch officers, they defend matters before the Supreme Court, High Court as AFT. Matters can be relating to defense lands, they can be relating to service laws, and they can be related to promotions. The subjects are the variety of subjects wherever you get involved, you know. Now, when you become a full colonel, you are a deputy judge advocate general of a corps headquarter, or a colonel litigation, or a colonel head army headquarter. So these are very senior appointments. So he's like a commanding officer now. He's a full colonel, and lots of responsibilities at this rank, because whatever you say, the commander is going to give an okay to it, because you're the legal guy. If you see something, you know, if you say something that ABC is right, he would say, okay, ABC is right, let's do it. He won't question you, he won't ask anyone else. So this is the very important. So at a colonel rank, you're roughly put in around 18 to 17 years of service, and then you get promoted to brigadiers. They are at command headquarters and army headquarters. Then Major General is called the JAG Indian Army. So you have JAG Navy, you have JAG Air Force, then you have JAG Indian Army. So that's the topmost rank, Major General, as I explained in the previous slide. So roughly these are the JAG appointments that we are talking about. And all these appointments are, I would say, as it is, AJAG, senior AJAG, they're generalized into these only. Other appointments also includes a posting of an instructor at Institute of Military Law, where we do our military courses. For example, I did my military course as Indian Institute of Military Law, which is at New Delhi. There they teach you military law. How do you, understand military law vis-a-vis the civil law, vis-a-vis the criminal law? How do you conduct court martials? How do you give opinions in military law? All those things are taught to you in that course. So you can also get posted as an instructor there. In layman term, it means a teacher. In army, we call it instructor. So if you get good gradings there and you get instructor grading, you also get posted as instructors. And one more appointment I like to highlight is you also get posted to foreign countries where United Nations are serving. Uh, for example, Congo, Botswana, uh, so wherever the United Nations are deployed, they call all the member countries, and India is one of them. So our army on regular basis, we get foreign postings, and you serve as MA2 commander, military attaché to the commander there, whoever the commander is, and you are the right hand man to him. You stay with him all day, during the office, during the parties, and every place you have to accompany him, because you stay with him on administrative side also, as well as the legal side. So these are roughly the JAG appointments that you will see down when you get commissioned as a JAG branch officer. I would like to discuss what are the duties that we perform in offices. Legal advice. Legal advice can be on operational issues. It can be on matrimonial disputes. It can be on legality of issues involved, or advice on questions of law, or simple advice to whatever the commander is asking over the telephone, or in written, or orally, or whatever the commanding officers are giving you a call. You have to cater to everyone and give them advice, right advice in a very less time, whichever relates to the military law. So roughly, you should have a good hold on military law by the time you get, posted at such appointments. So that's about legal advice. I've already discussed about the instructor at Institute of Military Law, New Delhi. If you are good in gradings, like you get, we have gradings like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. The Alpha gradings are generally given to successful candidates who perform good at the institute, and who can speak good and interact good. So they give an I grading. That means instructor. The word here, instructor I. So when they finish a course, they're given postings as instructors in this military law institute, where they teach the junior batches. Yeah. So whenever the next batch comes, he goes as instructor and starts. So you also get allowance of instructor. If you are instructor, you get a separate allowance of good about 10 to 12,000 rupees extra if you are an instructor here. So that's allowance given by the government if you are an instructor, if you do hard work. This is also important duty, man management. So I would say when you are serving as a Indian Army officer, first and foremost thing is be a very good and wise officer. They need you to be an officer first and then perform your JAG duties. So when you're managing your men, uh, you have to interact with men. You have to take care of their administrative needs and wants. You have to take care of their leave, their documentation. You have to teach them how to do things. And there's a complete staff under you, so to say, that a head clerk and clerks, and you have to deal with them on a daily basis. You have to keep checks up on their discipline and whatever issues they have. So man management is a very important aspect in the Indian Army, and I think this should not be ignored. That you got to do this also as well as your legal duties. Legal opinions. Legal opinions. I've given both terms here: legal advice as well as opinions. Opinion. I would differentiate from advice because opinions we give only on a document called noting sheets. Noting sheets are made in the army, or minutes, if you can call it, where we give out our opinion in writing when the commander has to take a call on some issue. So you write the advice on the piece of paper, you sign it, and you give it to the senior commander to exercise his wisdom whether he would go with your advice or not. He can say yes or no, his call, but you have to give a legal opinion on things. For example, on matrimonial disputes, sometimes a sipahi who has a wife and the wife is got into matrimonial dispute with the sipahi, she writes to the commander to ask for maintenance allowance under 125 CRPC. So she gives in a letter, and the complete case file comes to you. You have to read the file, you have to check the court orders, you have to give legal advice according to the recent Supreme Court orders, according to the law on the subject. And then finally, when you frame your opinion, it should be a considered and a collaborated and a justified opinion. You know what I mean? So that it shouldn't be challenged in the courts, or it should not leave any array of doubt in the mind of the commander or otherwise. So writing legal opinion is another an art. We generally use a rule called IRAC. Most of you would be aware. IRAC. You can use it in daily life actually. I means the issue, R means the research, then A means application, and then C means conclusion. So this is how you roughly deal with a situation, a legal issue. Whenever a legal issue crops up, you use this framework, IREC, and you're good to go. This I've already discussed with you, representing Union of India as before AFTs, High Courts, as well as Supreme Court. Now, this is a very important aspect because the ramifications of the litigations are far-reaching. Now, for example, we are contesting a matter somewhere. For example, in Secunderabad, we had an issue within the cant. There was some civil area. Ingress and egress of that particular area was in question, and people of the civil used to request the army authorities to open the road to general public so that there's no hassle of showing I cards and all those things. It went to the court, and we had to fight it out with the ministry also. Then you had to fight it out with other people and the petitioner. So whatever you submit in the court on behalf of Union of India, it is gospel truth. The judge writes it down that submitted by so-and-so officer, that so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. They take decision accordingly. So very important, the litigation side of your profile, I would say, representing Union of India. AFTs, if some people would be aware, I just like to expound on this. AFTs have been established in 2007. The appeal directly lies to the Supreme Court. They have original jurisdiction also, as well as appellate jurisdiction. So these are quasi-judicial bodies. If I remember correctly, 323 Alpha and Bravo of the Constitution. I might not be good at remembering that now, but they are tribunals actually. yeah, something like MACT or Income Tax Tribunal. So these have been exclusively to deal with the armed forces cases. This I have discussed with you, legal advisor at foreign posting United Nations. So when you are with the commander, you have to read the law of United Nations, uh, read their policies on human rights, international humanitarian law, Geneva Conventions, and all those things. I mean to say that exactly you have to sit down and study what exactly goes around when you're serving as a legal advisor in the United Nations. Uh, I've also done courses from United Nations Department of Peacekeeping, New York. Uh, it's called specialized training in human rights. So when I was studying that, I could see how vast the things are in international scenario. So it's a good exposure again. Now, the most important function that I would stress upon while you are a JAG officer, we call it the bread and butter of a JAG officer. That's being a judge advocate at trials, court martial. Most important function. Um, Most of you would be aware at the American system of justice, where the judge sits as a legal advisor. He is not deciding things. The who is deciding things in the American judiciary? The jury, so-called jury, the people sitting of different ages and different wisdom. They call all the people together and they decide on a particular matter, and they're assisted by the judge. So in the same way, in a court martial, you sit as an advisor to the judge, where you have around five members with you, additional members. Those five members are actually taking decisions guided by you as a judge advocate. You give legal advice throughout the court martial. You run the trial, you call the witnesses, you open the prosecution case, you listen to the prosecution, you make sure that the procedure is followed during the trial. Then examination of witnesses. You have to check that whether Evidence Act is applied, or whether the councils are adhering to the laws or not. For example, sometimes the defense counsels, they ask leading questions. So while dealing with the Indian Evidence Act, you got to correct these people and record their objections and give a solution to the court. And then you have to actually make the findings as well as the sentence according to the charge sheet, whatever has been done. So this is basically covers all the judicial duties. Sorry, judicial duties. So judge advocate is very important at court martials. By the way, I've done 10 court martials till date, with different charge sheets and different charges. Of course, we don't have stationary courts. We have movable courts. For example, mm, the accused and the court has been set up at Kota, Rajasthan, and I was posted at Delhi. So I have to move from Delhi, go to Kota, do the court martial, get all the procedures done, and come back to Delhi after recording the procedures and making a file or a binding that we call court martial proceedings. So for once, I was posting at Srinagar. I had to go to Delhi to do a court martial when I was a fresh major. Uh, Charges were of extortion and blackmail, all those things. So roughly, the complete duties of a judge are here at judge advocate at a court martial. So I got something to share with you, all the people here. The recent JAG notification for people who want to go to JAG. So I wanted to share it with you so that I can actually. So this is for October 2022, 29th course. Okay. So this is very important. Short Service Commission NT means non-technical course for graduates, men and women. So basically, you should be unmarried, number one. And for short service is okay. What is short service? Short service is 10 plus 4. So you serve for 10 years. Then you can apply for getting a permanent commission. If you get a permanent commission, then you serve for till you get pension at the age till the age of 58, whatever rank. And if you are short service, you wish to come out, you wish to do something else. Like in my case, I wanted to come out and start my own practice at AFT and High Court. You can do that too after 10 years. However, you don't get any pension. When you complete service of 58 years or 20 years, you get pension. So that's the catch here. Then eligibility, you can see citizen of India, everyone citizen of India. Then this is important, 21 to 27 years. Now, this is the age limit. So I would say uh, all the entries stop at 25, 24 CDS entries. This is the only entry which opens up till 27. So you can give it a trial, every year SSB can give SSB number of times till you get selected. So 27 years. So generally nobody's 21 years in law. Because generally you go for 5 years BLLB, or you go for some, you're not 21 by then. So these are the dates. And then education qualification says 55% aggregate marks in LLB, or a 3-year course or a 5-year course, whichever, and should be eligible for registration. Okay. Again, Bar Council. So it is recommendable that you get yourself registered with the bar councils of your state, and you should have a license with you. That is recommended, because it'll come in handy in the afterlife also. So it should be a thumb rule as a law student. Whenever you get out, just get your bar council license. And you look at these vacancies now: men 6 and women 3. So very less in numbers. They don't. We have very less in numbers, the officers. So they don't select many. Even if they're given vacancies 6, if you don't find logical men, they'll select only 1 or 2, and then probably go ahead. This is what I was saying. Initial period extendable up to 4 years. Now, after 10 years, if you don't get permanent commission, you can serve for another 4 years and then come out. Okay, then come out after 14 years. So that's how the 14 years period is. Further, I would like to discuss with you the training. Yeah, this is the duration of training: 49 weeks at OTA Chennai. Okay, this is pre-commissioning training. So this is pretty rigorous, but one should not lose heart. You learn so many things at OTA. It's a different subject altogether. Uh, God bless if I can discuss this with you at any time, because this is something one should know what exactly happens there. So the cost of training, whatever it is, 13,000 rupees per week. So this is what they spend on you while you're training. So they're just giving it to you, that if you want to leave on medical grounds or other reasons, see here, reasons not beyond his control, liable to refund the cost of. This is how they do it if you leave. Promotion criteria I just discussed with you. Lieutenant on commission, you complete 2 years, you get promoted to captain. 6 years, you are a major. 13 years, you're a colonel time scale. 26 years. So these ranks, see these ranks, 3 ranks, they say on selection system. So once you're a lieutenant colonel, if you are good in merit, and they can select you directly as a colonel. Otherwise, you become colonel on 26 years. Here, you become colonel in 15 years. That's why they use this selection basis. Very important for everyone. What is the pay? How do we get paid? So I think the pay scales are pretty good. And you stay in cantonments, you have a good life, and you got schools, you have everything. It's pretty nice. So a decent living, I would say, a decent living. And you get an MSP extra. Is written 15,500, and atop of this, if you get posted to suppose UN, or you get posted to field area Srinagar, you get allowances. If you serve in high altitude, you get allowances. So allowances get added to these, and you get a good amount of salaries. Yeah. So this is the stipend you get while you're training. If you train for 1 year, you are paid 56,100 rupees per month, every for the number of times you training at OTA. Okay, so when you come from OTA, you got good money with you. You get commission 56. Yeah. So other allowances, this is what I was talking about, like para allowance, project allowance. So these kind of allowances, you keep getting as you get into service. So these are the field allowances: HAFA, field around mod field. So this is what you get lieutenant and above, like 16,900. So this is some level they have given. HAFA is like high altitude allowance, high altitude category 1, category 2, category 3. So these kind of allowances, uniform, ration in kind, transport allowance, and DADAs, number of things. So after you get married, you get children allowance also. So this is the amount you get from the government. You know, you can reimburse. You get hostel subsidy. Then you have insurances. How to apply? How to apply? Guys, just log on to this website and click on officer entry, apply login. Then you can apply for the JAG entries. Okay, and this is the way you apply these days. Then I would like to bring out selection process. Okay, so they have given that selection centers, they'll be calling your selection center, shortlisting of applicants. First, they shortlist your, I would say, degrees and documents. So they select you and call for the interviews. And so these are the centers basically: Allahabad, Bhopal, Bangalore, Kapurthala. I was at Bangalore. Okay, so these are the four SSB centers. Accordingly, you get allotment of selection center. They call you, and then this is two-stage selection process. Stage one, which was the preliminary stage I was talking about. Stage two, the other 5 days. Okay. Then this important, I told you, medical, join Indian Army for medical standards. So please check these standards. Okay. Medical standards procedures for medical examination. This is available at the website. So if you're not fit according to that medical standards, so please don't apply. Simple as that. Do something else. Don't unnecessarily prepare for SSB, spend those 5 days, and then all of a sudden realize that you're not medical fit. So that's about it. Then they prepare a merit list, and then these are okay. That's the last page now. I think that will be fruitful to you. One more thing, starting from this year 2023, I'd like to share this also. They have modified the election selection criteria. Something called CLAT PG score you do for LLM. So this has been made mandatory now. You got to give your CLAT PG score to them in order to get called for the SSP. Okay. Now here is the thing: CLAT PG score of the preceding year is being made applicable with effect from April 2023 onwards. Candidates applying for SSC JAG 30, this is the next course. This one, April 2000 and SS 31, will be required to provide CLAT 22. That means if you are sitting for the interview of 2023, you have to give them score of 2022. That's simple what they mean, right? So they have given this. See, CLAT 22 will be held in this, CLAT 23 will be held in 18 December. So these are the amendments they have got. So that's about it. And my house is open for questions now. I'll take questions for some time. Yeah, you can please speak something on the mic, and I'll be happy to answer.
Jain sir, Gurvinder this side.
Hi, Jahan. Yeah.
Yes, sir, I have appeared in JAG 30 and I got conference out. So I would like to ask how can I prepare? Because I think my interview wasn't good, while my GTO and other tasks were, my psych test was good. But I think I need to focus more on my interview. So can you suggest something to prepare for the interview?
Yes. What I always suggest to my friends when they ask me, friends like you who are youngsters who want to go to the army, uh, you should always sit down and do some introspection from within. Start from your metric class, like 10th onwards. Write down your drawbacks, write down your achievements. You should be aware. Do not get scared from your drawbacks. Do write it down because they are yours. There's nobody else. So you got to write it down. First, you got to now, for example, if in the 10th you were not good at studies, then what were the reasons? Okay, if the interview asks you that were you good at studies, you say no, I was not. Then you say why? Then you should have a logical reason, and you have to make up a logical reason for that matter of fact. If you want to crack the interview, you just can't say that I just didn't study. You should have reasons to that. Then go to 11th, go to 12th, go to college. So introspect yourself, build your personality, build your character. So from 10th till your college, you are building up your own, I would say personality in a certain way. What you are today is due to these I would say times you have spent in schools and colleges. So roughly, write it down on a piece of paper, your positive and negatives, and you'll be able to see yourself better for the interview. And then, if you have you participate in something, you play football, you play sports, you should be very typical about studying that sport. And if you don't do anything, just be honest. You say, I don't do anything because I'm a JAG entry. I don't play. I'm a lawyer. I study. I write. Be true to itself.
Sure, sir. And sir, one more question is that there are various coaching institutes. So is it worthy of taking a coaching to prepare for
ये
JAG?
स्पेशल पे आने वाला था
Yes, because they give you I would say a structure. They tell you a structure that this is the structure, this is the exam, this is how you go about it. Like for example, I have a car. I tell Gurvinder, okay, I'll teach you the car. You won't be able to drive car as good as me, but you'll be able to, give it a go in some way. So that's what I mean to say. You should always learn what the procedures are, what the structures are of the exam, what the exam wants from you, and then it's upon you to actually prepare for it. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Yes.
you for such an insightful session.
Most welcome. Anyone else, please?
Maninder sir, I have a small query with regard to the preparation for JAG aspirants. One thing, see, it is always said that you have to be your own. Whenever you go for any HSB interview, it is said that you have to be as it is you are. But
Yeah.
I do feel that the coaching institutes are somewhere manipulating the behavior which they portray at the time of SSB interview. So, what is your take on this? I mean, is it really that the candidates who go for coaching institutes like for 10, 15 days, and we can say the change in the behavior, they try to show themselves differently, and actually they are not what they try to portray before the interviewing officer.
Yeah,
So,
because see, as I suggested to Gurvinder, yet again you have to just go to the institute and get the structure of the interview. It's upon you to actually come home and prepare it. If you are manipulated, you will be caught. You will be caught by the officer there. He would know that you are manipulated. Yeah. So I think that the best way to deal about it is go look for a good institute around your house somewhere. Just go and sit down and see what exactly they want from you. That's all. You should know that what interview wants from you. Then it's upon you to actually prepare for it. Yeah, Monish, you got your hand raised. I think this guy, Monish 12.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, please go
Hello,
ahead.
Jane, sir. Sir, I have a
Yeah.
question. What's your point of view? Is it necessary to have all the 15 OLQs, or like I just wanted to know your point of view?
No, see again, Monish. Don't try to push it down your throat. Don't try to get all the OLKs 15. I might be having zero point 0.5 of them, but I'm clear that what I have is very strong. Prepare on those points. If you have only two, go with them. Prepare those two. Don't unnecessarily get into I want this and this and this. I don't think that's gonna work for each and every one of you. Now, if you are, for example, if you are stubborn, you can't say that I'm stubborn in the interview. You have to somehow, you know, say it properly in a better way so that it is appreciated by the person who is the interviewer. And that's about it. Don't feel that you should have all the 15 qualities in you. Have only five, but have firm, and you should be very sure on them. Yeah, I think that answers your question, Manish.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, Harshal raised the hands.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. Hi.
Sir, my question is: can an officer from a JAG officer volunteer for the special forces?
Yes, you can anytime. Special forces need people like you who say no, who will say yes to red berets, maroon berets. Yeah. So that's
Anytime,
something
sir.
that's a dream for every person who's getting out of the academy. They want to join the
Okay.
para forces, the special forces, and serve the country in a better way. You can go for the courses. It's a voluntary, I would say, part of the army. You can always volunteer for paramilitary. Sorry, my correction, para forces, special forces, and go undergo their. If you're good, if you're able to pass their rigorous physical stamina and tests, You become a JAG para officer. You sit in your JAG office with a red beret. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, most welcome, most welcome. Anybody else, please? Yeah, go ahead, please.
A very good evening, sir. Diksha this side.
Hi, Diksha. Hi.
Sir, talking about our marks in LLB or BLLB, does it really affect our chances of getting selected in SSB, or we just need 55% to qualify?
Diksha, yeah, you just need 55. That's the limit they have given you. That should not be below 55. So when you send your mark sheets, when you send your various documents that they're asking for, 12th and this and that, so they're very inclusive. So they have overall analysis of the applications that are received and the vacancies, I would say, the number of vacancies they have. So they work on pro rata basis. So number of applications in for a particular number of vacancies, and then they call for screening. That's how they do it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Most welcome, Diksha. Thank you. Anybody else, please? I think they're more of listeners.
मैं एक और सवाल पूछना तो पूछूं।
So, anything else anyone else would like to ask? Otherwise, we'll, yeah, Shakshi Shrivastava. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I wanted to ask you something regarding how important is it to become a scholar for JAG or to, be physically fit for it? Which side of the coin is given more importance?
If I get your question correctly, what is the scholar JAG you're referring to?
No, as in how much important is it to become a scholar, like to be a scholar, to get selected in a in JAG, or to be physically fit?
Oh yes, that is very important. Sakshi, you have to be a. They expect you to be a Superman. You should be good at your studying also, as well as your physicals. Physicals are part and parcel of the 4G life. You can't say no to these things. You got to get up in the morning, run your 2.5 every day, do your PT, do your games in the evening, compulsory games. You play with the troops, basketball, football, whatever, or then you can pursue your own single game like I don't sleep in the afternoons. I'm a keen golfer. So you become like that. You want to stay engaged the whole day till 9 p.m. and the army keeps you engaged. Then they'll give you something to study. Also, they'll expect you to be a scholar. They expect you to be a sportsman and a gentleman and a lady, of course. So these are part and parcel of 4G life. It comes with the profession actually. And Sakshi, it's not a job. It's a way of life, I would say. It's not a job. If all the participants, please don't consider it as a job. It's not a job. It's a way of life. So once you're in, you have to live like an army officer for your whole life. So if you're coming in the army for salary, I don't think it's a good place because you got to come with a set of mind to do the service. That's about it. I think that answers your questions, actually.
It does, it does.
Yeah, that's about it.
Maninder sir, I have one last question. Sorry.
Yes, please.
Sir, I appeared for JAG SSB interview 4 times, and
Oh,
every time I got conference out. So I guess even if we appear for 6 or 7 times, we cannot make out what actually they're looking for. Because
yeah.
what any do you have any special observation which you can
No,
pass on to
no.
the students or somewhere like that would be an added advantage for them as per
See,
your experience? So, yeah.
Deepshika, I won't be able to, type it out for you. We'll just have a chat with you in a while. Somebody's typing something. Okay. The thing is that there is no set pattern or a set personality they want to have. They don't want very, very uh, high IQ people, not very low IQ people. They want someone average. Now, whatever you're doing today must be better than you must be enjoying it, running lost flat with your teams and doing whatever you're doing, what you are good at. So whatever comes your way, accept it with happy hands. It is not that like in my interview, when they disclose the results, they always say that Shah Rukh Khan couldn't do it, Amitabh Bachchan couldn't do it, but they're better actors, you know. So you might be good at something else. So they need average people who can take command and give command. That's as simple as that.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah. Kalyan Singh Bhatti.
Good evening, sir. I just wanted to ask you that can a JAG officer become a pilot?
No, no, Kalyan. Pilot is a separate corps. It's called Army Aviation Corps. You have to come through CDS if you want to become a pilot in the Indian Army, and then you for going to the as a fighter pilot you have to go to the Air Force, of course, and not in the Indian Army. Indian Army you have pilots who are called Army Aviation Experts. They fly helicopters only. So JAG branch officer cannot become a pilot. You can't have oranges and apples together.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Please, can you ask me whosoever is typing something in the box because I won't be able to read it. You can just, yeah, Deepshika Verma. Oh, Acha. So my mic has an issue. Okay.
I guess all the queries have been solved.
She writes that JAG entries SS recruitment as mentioned to receive a mention of enrolling is required. So do JAG officers get pension of privileges of excellence? Okay. JAG officers, once you are continuing in service after 10 years, you know, after you get PC, permanent commission, your entry is short service. However, after 10 years, you get considered for permanent commission. If you get permanent commission, then you are eligible for pension. But if you come home after 10 years, you don't get pension. Danishka Rathor. Okay, she's asking anything else. So
Okay.
can I? Neha Chauhan says that I am in third year of my 5 year integrated law. So can I apply? No, you can apply with provisional degree, not before that. They give you provisional degree, I think, in the last year for applying for jobs. Okay, okay, okay. Anybody else? Kaplesh. I have been to Bangalore. Just has been 980 plus. We are there. 30 was selected. Dr. Kaplesh. Yeah, Kaplesh, that's what we're talking about. They don't take much people inside. What should I focus in on my last year of law school to increase my chances? Oh, so you don't need to focus on anything. You need to become you need to crack the SSB. That's what everybody is crying here for. You know, you need to crack the SSB, get into it, and get into Japan. That's about it. No special, things to be done like you prepare for judiciary or something like that. Yeah. Any questions from anyone? Please go ahead.
I guess we are done with the query session. So,
So one last question.
Please,
okay then.
please. I'm available till 4:30. Is it? Yeah, 4:30. Happy to help anyone, please.
So my question is, so what are the opportunities for a JAG officer after his service in the army, after the short service commission? If he when he comes into the civil, so what are the
Okay.
opportunities for him?
A very intelligent question, Harshal. I skipped it. So, if you like, for example, me, I've come out of the army after serving after 10 years. Army is not a bad organization, anyways. I'm not saying that, but due to personal reasons, I have to leave it. The number one thing that I took up, I got selected with a PSU, Sale Authority of India Limited, as a legal officer. I gave their exam, gave their interview, I got selected. And later you have opportunities to sit in PCS. Like I'm from Punjab, so we have a ex-serviceman quota here, where you can sit for your competitive examinations, both judicial section as well as the administrative sections. You can sit for state judicial services even after serving for 10 years in the Indian Army. That's what Punjab, Haryana, and Himachal offers. I don't think rest of India has those things on board because, for obvious reasons. And then you can go for your own practice in the AFT. Ujjwal, I just come back to you on the message, okay? Before you go for, you can go in for practice your own practice at your high court, or you can go to AFTs where you deal with all the military matters against the
So what
Union
is
Army.
AFD?
AFT, Armed Forces Tribunal. So
Okay, sir. All right.
Yeah, Armed Forces Tribunal. This is the first court that you go to for service matters in the army. For example, you have not been promoted, so you can go to the FT, file a petition, fight out your case. So you can do that, and you have opportunities international also if you can. You have the sources to go out. Uh, I just came back from Canada. I've joined a law firm in Canada these days. So I work with somebody in Brampton. So I gave an interview, got selected with that firm. So these days I'm dealing with real estate, immigration laws, and all those things. So there's no end to your imagination. You imagine and you can do it. And I sat for some interviews for the United Nations jobs also. So it's upon you actually how fertile your mind is, how fertile you keep yourself. You keep studying, you keep improving yourself. Like I was a law student, but I still went to IIM Lucknow for exposure's sake. I did a short MBA course to understand how the business law works and how do the IT's companies work. So there's no end to it. Yeah, there's no end to it. Rest depends upon you, how you see yourself.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, most welcome, Harshal. Most welcome.
So, sir, with your permission, officially, we would like to now conclude the session.
Just the answer to the query of 81 Ujjwal Dayal. Sir, do Navy and Air Force have their JAG officers? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They have their separate entries. You got to look for their entries at nausena.com. I mean, the Navy's website and the Air Force website. Keep looking for those. If you are lucky, then you can get it. Anybody else? Anything else, Gagneet?
I guess the queries have been solved.
Yeah.
So, with this,
Yeah.
if with your permission, sir, I would like to officially deal you a vote of thanks for the day.
No issues, no issues like that. It was
Yeah.
a pleasure interacting with people.
So
And
on behalf of Team Lost Blood and all the members of Team Lost Blood,
yeah,
we are really grateful and thankful to you, sir, for joining us out of your busy and hectic schedule, and we really appreciate the time that you have taken to
yeah,
address the queries of all the participants over here. And
yeah.
hopefully, the students might have benefited out of this session, and definitely the insights that you have given will definitely benefit them, and might be if they get selected, definitely they would remember Major Maninder Singh, that yes, something, the insights that were given by sir has definitely benefited
Right.
them. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
happy to
and
help.
in future we would also again look forward to have some sessions like this, and really thankful so much, sir,
Okay,
from
thank you,
the core of
Gagni.
my
Thank you
heart
so much.
and from the side of Team Lost Blood as well, sir. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
and
sir.
it was a lovely forum. Best of luck to all the people. I can say the variety of people here, and whatever you do your best. Don't feel that if you're not selected for the SSB, you're not that good. You might be good in something else.
Right.
So don't be bogged down by that. Various people do various things, and you can do everything possible. And I was commissioned into 4 Sam Regiment, and we have a say to sign off things. We always tell people Tagda Raho instead of Jai Hind or
Hmm.
hello, hi, or good morning, good evening. We say Tagda Raho. So Tagda Raho to everyone. Take care and keep doing good. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Bye, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Thanks, Jan.
See, आपका फीडबैक नहीं मांगते इसमें कभी भी ध्यान रखो, कभी भी इसमें फीडबैक नहीं मांगते हैं।